Hello, and welcome to another Kerbal Space Program video, where today we have a few issues. Last time, and the time before, we were struggling to get to the moon. Now, today I think is going to be the day we do it. We are running, not low, but we are nearing the point where we are not just having money to throw at everything, so we have to get this done. With that said, I'm not going to take some new rocket or any rocket that I've been building like the Moon one, which I actually forgot to save, I guess. But I would like to take a new rocket, actually, and I am going to start building that right now. Now this right here is the probe launch system. I have just made it, but I am sort of realizing it is looking pretty small still, so I do think I will add a few more boosters. Here we go. This is the Probe LS1. Now I am hopeful this rocket will get us all the way to the moon. Now you will notice that Jebediah is not in the corner, as this is not a manned ship. So let's go. Problem after problem with that launch. The rocket wasn't stable because there were no reaction wheels or any SIS controls or stability assist, nothing. So the rocket was pretty difficult to control. But other than that, the rocket was pretty stable and launched relatively well. So I do think the solution might actually be to just put a command pod onto it. Because if it can launch like that, I don't think we're going to have any issues. Now, since we aren't going to the moon, I am not worried about crashing or anything like that. We also did prove, though, we can fly that rocket and be successful, and it can also land without a ton of parachutes. So now I am just going to add these right here, and I am going to, instead of the probe L1S, this will just be the, or not the L1S, the LS1. We'll save it like this, check our action groups, and we can launch it. After, of course, making sure Jebediah is in the cockpit. And that is orbit achieved with actually a pretty good amount of fuel left. Now, even if we did have a lander on this rocket, or this stage of the rocket could land on the moon, I don't think it would be able to still. But what we can see is we are in orbit and we will be able to go towards the moon. So that's what we will do right now. And that is a ton of science we just got. So now what I'm going to do is close our bay doors, and now we will just return back to Earth. Serious? 20,000 meters into the Earth? After time-lapsing, it didn't stop the time-lapse? Sure, isn't it supposed to stop at like 60,000 or 70,000 once you're in the atmosphere? Why did I just get slammed into the planet? Wait, what? So, we were so close to completing that. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, I guess we have to do it again. And there we go, we have finally done it. We should have gotten data from the moon. I'm not sure why it's saying we haven't, because we have gotten some crazy amounts of research from just flying by the moon. But it says we haven't yet, which probably means we have to land on the moon. So I do want to check our contracts. Oh no, it seems like we've actually done it. Well, would you look at that. We have explored the moon successfully. And now we have a ton of research, 116 points. Now, hopefully this will also unlock us, maybe harder contracts, like, more of these 2-star, 3-star contracts, but I am sure we will be able to do a lot more in the future. I mean, even here we can see, we can get a ton of money from bringing people to the moon. Now, of course, that is going to be difficult, but, again, we can get a lot of money and a lot of research. Now, as we can see, we have 860,000 money, I guess, to invest into rockets and other things. With that said, though, I would like to look towards research and development, as we can get a ton of great parts. Now, I have talked about before getting heavy rocketry. It is going to be pretty useful. But at the same time, there might be some other things we could look towards. Because now we're not strictly looking towards getting to the moon. but we could also do much more if we wanted to. Now, I almost feel as if researching electrics is going to be the best decision we can make. Now, it will give us this more advanced probe, which will give us more SAS controls, just like a pilot, it claims. We can get a solar panel, a battery, a radiator, which can, I believe, actually expand, some lights, which aren't super important, and solar panels that I guess we could deploy. But I think that the probe is going to be pretty useful. As a lot of these other systems, you need to, research advanced rocketry. Then we need to get heavy rocketry, but we still don't have a huge capsule. So it's kind of just silly, I think, to go down this road without getting things we could use sooner first. Because as we can see, over here, we get this lander, but it is going to take a while. So I think I will research electrics, and now we can actually build a more advanced rocket. And here we go. That is the rocket complete. And I think it is looking pretty good. So now, of course, we are just going to put... Oh, I didn't accept the contract. Let me go accept that contract to ferry tourist to the moon. Because that will give us a ton of money that we could spend on other things. Kerbals can go on this rocket. And now we can launch our rocket. On the bright side, we landed safe and sound, but on the bad part of it, the rocket did spin out. Now, the reason that happened, I believe, is because the rocket's fins got damaged when the boosters were being detached. Now, I don't want this to continue happening, so in the future, what I think I will do is start trying to release the boosters while there is still a little bit of fuel in them so that they fly away on their own. With that said, we are going to launch the rocket one more time. would you look at that, we have landed our rocket safely, while ferrying 2 passengers and being controlled by a probe. Now, I honestly did almost make a huge mistake of not deploying the antenna before we got to the moon. With that said, everything worked out fine, and now we have just a ton of money. Which again, great thing we've got going. Now, of course, we do still have 3 more passengers to ferry. We will probably take this contract to even them out, so we only have to take, 3 more rockets instead of, 2, and only be bringing 1 person on each. Nonetheless, we're getting there, and we have done a lot. We got to the moon, and that was the struggle in the past 2 videos. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really want to thank you for watching through the whole thing. It really means a lot. In the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and have yourself a great day.